afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Burn News and Views. And today it's an election edition, and we have some of the candidates from the Progressive Labor Party who will be running in election tomorrow for less than 20 hours till we start voting. People go to the polls. So we're going to start with Ms. Caesar. And I'd like all of you to sort of introduce yourself and give a brief bio. I know a lot of people probably know who you are. Some of you more than others, high profile. But where you're running, where your polling station is, and why people should vote for you. So, Ms. Caesar.
Okay, well, Don, thank you for having all of us today. We really appreciate the opportunity to reach out to everyone. And now for me, I am Crystal Caesar, and I am representing constituency 31, which is Southampton West Central. And the reason why I feel I'm qualified to run is because I care about our community. I care about what happens with our people, and I want to see us progress. I want to see Bermudians have opportunities in their own country. And ultimately, I just want a better Bermuda for all Bermudians.
Thank you. Mr. Lister.
Good afternoon, Don. How are you? Afternoon to all those that are listening and watching. And my name is Dennis Lister III, and I am representing constituency 28, Warwick West. And tomorrow, our polling station is located at Windreach Recreational Facility up on Spice Hill Road. And Don, you asked why would I want people to vote for me? Well, in the 3 years that I have served so far, I've reached out to constituents. I've had them reach out to me. I dealt with their problems, whether it's stuff that's just affected them personally or, matters that a group of constituents might have issues with. And I've done my best I can to resolve them and address those issues. And why would I want people to vote for me? Because it's still more work to be done. It is never finished. So I would like to continue the work that I've started. And I would hopefully like to get support from those that come out tomorrow and vote for Dennis Lister, C28. Go all the way.
Thank you. Ms. Simmons.
Good day, everybody. My name is Lindsay Simmons, and I am representing C12 Devonshire South Central. And my polling station is at Botanical Gardens. And the reason why I believe people should vote for me is not only is C12 not represented, I believe that they finally need a face, and they don't need doorsteps, canvassing, and finding out what people's problems are, or their concerns, or their needs. And I've been able to solve some of these problems already, and I've just begun. So I believe that people should vote for me, and I believe in service. So vote for Lindsay Simmons, C12, tomorrow, PLP.
Right, thank you. Mr. Wade.
How are you doing? Good afternoon, all to the listening public and viewing public. My name is Jason Wade, and I am the PLP candidate for constituency 30, Southampton East Central. Tomorrow, our polling station is Ham Bay Primary School, my alma mater. Why people should vote for me? I feel that I am a son of the soil, lived in the constituency all of my life. I am about service. I am about giving back. I have dedicated most of my life to giving back. As the former president of Southampton Rangers and the current chair of Cedar Bridge Academy Board of Governors, I'm about education. And that's the platform that I have been running on the doorsteps about improving our education system. So that's what we have started with the signature schools that we are moving to. I'm passionate about it, and I'm looking to push that forward to make sure that it comes to fruition.
Thank you. Mr. Keynes.
Good afternoon, Don. Good afternoon to the listening audience. I'll be running in Devonshire Northwest, constituency 14. This is an opportunity for us to continue a journey that we started together with the people in constituency 14 3 years ago. We have many things that we have to need to work on. And at Cedar Park, we're looking to work on the lighting issues and work on the water issues. On Berry Hill Road in Paget, we're looking at continuing to try to solve the issue with the speeding issues that we have in that area and working on a solution to rectify that. As we go through our community in constituency 14, we're on a journey together with the constituents, and I would love to continue that with their support.
Good morning. Good afternoon. My name is Arthur, and I am the candidate for constituency 3 West. At a very basic level, I have decided to run to let my daughter know that she has a future in her, to know that she can take on leadership positions. I want our sons to know that, they can make a difference. I want our young people to know that they have a voice. I think it's important to get the room to start having these very important conversations. I think we've done a good job supporting entrepreneurs. Like others, work needs to be done in reforming our education system. I think it's important to lend a helping hand to our communities, our various communities, to be the support need. That's me.
Thank you. Mr. Adams.
Good afternoon, Dawn, and certainly good afternoon to your listening audience. My name is Josh A. Adams, the constituent for C19 Pembroke West. And so tomorrow, our polling station will be at West Pembroke School. I'm going to say that again for my constituents, that our polling station is at West Pembroke School. The reason why I've decided to run in this election is ultimately because I love my country and my countrymen. And I look at this as an opportunity, as an evolution for my commitment to service. And so I've put my name forward and consider myself a fresh and young person, fresh and young face, I should say, in the political scene. And I'm prepared to bring new ideas to the mix and ultimately use this as a dedicated use this as my form as a dedication to be part of the solution.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Richardson.
Good day, John. Good day, everyone in your listening audience and viewing audience. I feel that tomorrow is a great day for democracy. I'm running in constituency 22, Paget East. This is my third election to be running in Paget East. I've continued to show my commitment. I've been receiving many phone calls from persons that I met back in late 2016 when I first started canvassing. I've remained active in the area to people's responses in different pockets of constituency 22. Our polling station is Bermuda College. As you all know, it's from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I hope to see everyone. I encourage everyone to come out and vote for me, vote for PLP to finally be the representative that can make a difference in constituency 22. Far too long have the residents of constituency 22's votes been taken for granted, meeting people on the doorsteps for the first time for either for any reason that they give why someone has never visited them. So I stand on the doorsteps. I give you a commitment. You can believe in me and trust that a vote for me gives you your voice.
All right, thank you. We have Davida and Morris and Lawrence Scott to come in at some point. So we shift around a little bit because other people have time commitments. We'll give them a chance to introduce themselves as well. And also to the viewers, if you have a question you'd like to ask a candidate, please leave a comment on the stream and I will try to ask it. So the general open question here, what are you most proud of the PLP accomplishing in the last 3 years? Anyway. Curtis, you're going to say something.
I think, and I'm very hesitant to say it when we think about the events of the last 24 hours in Bermuda. I think in Bermuda we have seen our country do things a bit differently with reference to leadership, with reference to the Bermuda College, with the young people and the education, the opportunity to go to Bermuda College that has not heretofore. There have been a number of people that have not been able to go to university because they haven't been able to afford it. I'm really excited to see the amount of people that have been able to go to college and to make their lives better as a result of education. There are a number of people that were dual enrolled at high school and at Bermuda College, and through the opportunity, we see and we believe as a party that education is indeed one of the keys to change the lives of our citizens. And we see the amount of people that have taken advantage of going to Bermuda College as a significant accomplishment for our party.
Anyone else want to comment?
I believe that taking care of our seniors and ensuring that the pensions are increased every year as a major inroad and showing support for our seniors. If anything stands out for me, it's that because the seniors are our backbone and they've done many things for this country. And to give them the assurity that they will continue to be taken care of, I think that's important to stress.
Hey, Crystal.
Okay. Just a quick request whenever one person is speaking, if everybody else could mute their mics, we're getting a bit of feedback. But I want to say that I'm very proud of the funding that the government has provided to the BEDC for entrepreneurs to pursue their entrepreneurial interests. Basically, over the last several years, we've increased the funding several $1 million so that anyone who's interested in maybe doing that thing that they have always considered as a career on the side or full time has the ability to do so. The BEDC supports small businesses in such that it provides training. It provides some of the entrepreneurs actually have the ability to go in and set up a workspace. They provide classes for doing your books, as an example. So the BEDC is like a one-stop shop. It helps with incorporation. There's just a myriad of things that the BEDC is able to do. And I'm proud that quite a few of people I know have taken advantage of that. In fact, one of the businesses of which I'm a business manager does use the resources of the BEDC, and we find that it is very, very helpful. Another thing that I am proud that the government has done is increasing the ability for people to start and maintain care homes and care facilities in Bermuda. As we know, we have an aging population, and so we need additional infrastructure to come online, and the government has made it more attractive and incentivized people to get into that particular area of gerontology. And one other that I can think of right off the top, which I actually presented when I was in the Senate, is the Tourism Investment Act. As the junior minister of tourism, it is important, and I've become very, very aware of what we need in order to spurn on the tourism product that we have. The Tourism Investment Act allows businesses to invest in Bermuda, those that are currently here. It gives them the incentive to continue to invest and to update and attract additional visitors to Bermuda.
Okay.
How you doing? I have two.
You have two, okay.
Okay. First, I just want to say, as an accomplishment, and this is putting on my road safety hat as the chairman of the Road Safety Council, is that the government, with the establishment of the roadside sobriety checkpoints, I know that fell under Minister Keynes when he was the Minister of National Security, but that has definitely been a success. We have seen a reduction of road traffic collisions, road traffic fatalities, and just an overall message of drive against drunk driving. So we have seen a reduction in that, and it's an accomplishment by the government with the introduction of roadside sobrieties. And also, sometimes it is overlooked, but it's also the decriminalization of marijuana, because in Bermuda, for far too long, young men, young women have been affected by this. If you're a young person and you can be away in school, you come here for the summertime and you make a mistake and get caught with a joint, and your career is basically washed away. Because once you're on that stop list, you can't leave to go to overseas to America. So I see that as an accomplishment to try and correct some wrongs. And so that's two accomplishments I can think of right there, Don.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about restorative just a little later in the program. The PLP is doing to help bring about changes in the criminal justice system to make it fairer to our population. Mr. Adams?
Oh, in that specific question, I was on to what are we most proud of?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, what are we most proud of? Oh, sorry. What am I most proud of? I can certainly say I think I will take the low-hanging fruit there and say that I'm absolutely proud of the way that our government handled COVID-19. It certainly ushered in some unprecedented times. No one really expected the effects that it would have, and I'm certainly proud of the way that we adapted and became innovative and our quick response to that, whether it be the stringent testing regime that has helped us with the health crisis or just the overall communications. I mean, at one point we were getting daily press conferences updating the public exactly where we were and the procedures to best handle ourselves, and then ultimately providing the financing for people who have suffered as a result of COVID-19. So if I was to take the low-hanging fruit, I certainly say that I would be most proud of the way that we handled ourselves during the COVID-19 pandemic.
All right, thank you. We actually have a question from Karen Greener, and Jason, you're the one who's directed to you.
Sure.
What were most of the concerns you've heard from your constituents, and how do you plan to address them?
So there's a little feedback, but from what I heard, it was what are most of the concerns of my constituents in 30?
Correct, and how do you plan to address
Perfect.
them?
So for most of my constituents, education. Education has been everything that people want to talk about on the doorsteps. And I love when they bring that up to me because, like I said before, I'm excited about the direction that we're going in. I always bring up the fact that as a teacher, when I was in the classroom, it was difficult for a teacher to be able to facilitate the 20 kids in the classroom when you had 5 or 6 kids in the classroom that wanted to be doing technical subjects such as mechanics, engineering, even the arts and theater and the like, but they were forced into a regular stream classroom. And then you had students that had learning challenges who weren't getting the support that they needed. So when I talk to my constituents, I let them know what the signature schools that we're bringing are all about, but let them know that it's coming. It's not a pipe dream, it's coming. So Plan 2022 is in full swing. So that's been the main thing on our doorsteps in 30 is people are asking what's going on with educations, when are we getting rid of the middle schools and going back to the two-tier system. And when they ask me about it, I fill them in as to what's going on, and people are excited because what's amazing to me is my father went to Tech. He graduated from the Technical Institute, and that was taken away from us. So the fact that we're moving back to a technical institute with the signature school, it brings smiles to all our constituents' faces.
Okay, I do want to get into the schools and the plan to reform it change next year. But we have Davida Morris has joined us. Davida, can you just introduce yourself? Tell a little bit about yourself, where your polling station is tomorrow, and why people should vote for you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Davida Morris. I am running in constituency 20, Pembroke Southwest. I am not new to politics. I have been involved since I became a member of the youth wing. And for me, this is just a continuation of my service to Bermuda. I'm very happy, I'm more comfortable when I am in service to people.
Okay, thank you. The number one issue for people is obviously the economy right now. We had 700 plus job losses at the Fairmont Southampton. The Chamber of Commerce has reported nearly 50 retail businesses have closed. A.S. Cooper's in receivership. People are taking up to 25% pay cuts, furlough week and/or furlough days, plus reduced working hours. What specific plan does the PLP have to guide Bermuda to economic recovery over the next 5 years? At Mr. Adams or Mr. Lister?
Sure. There's a number of things in terms of our recovery economically. The first is basically better managing, or how do we better manage the public purse? And so one of the things that we have to look at is the expense portion of the public purse, but not just that, it's how do we then increase the revenue? So it is relooking at immigration policies as well as our tourism product in order to increase the revenue side of our economy. The minister announced about a month or two ago that there will be funding for capital projects. So there's an initiative to stimulate the economy that way through capital projects, and also the impact that the Bermuda National Digital Bank is something that we are quite proud of and are quite committed to actually introducing to this island. And so that in and of itself is designed to bring new industries into the country, as well as reduce or assist with the reduction of cost of living, whether it be on the lending rates from mortgages and the like. But the other thing that we talk about is the cost of living. And so there's initiatives, whether it be through the cooperatives, via the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation, as well as the solar panels, the purchase of solar panels, all designed primarily to reduce the cost of living within this country. So these are just some of the ways that the government is committed within the next or this upcoming term to actually help stimulate the economy.
Okay, anyone else want to chime in? Okay, viewer Michael Brangman has a question. Salaries are the majority of government expenditures, and I don't think it's the majority, but it's a good portion. Why hasn't government moved to modernize and utilize technology to lower its operating costs?
Government is using technology in a myriad of different ways to do things differently within the civil service. Whenever people talk about government expenses, they tend to focus on the size of the civil service, as we understand that the government is always reticent to cut the size of the civil service, because you just change the line that people stand in, and we know that there are a number of efficiencies that we can do, and we're striving to do that. But technology is a huge part of how we make our government more efficiently. If you go to TCD, if you go to a number of departments, you can see where things are being done differently. In the Bermuda Department of Immigration, we are seeing where there are all of the new mixed status family applications are being done online. If you look at, if you wanted to do things down at TCD, so there are a number of ways that our government is being more efficient. If you look at the old system, every government department had a receptionist, and you can see an evolution away from some of that in many of our government departments. We believe that working with our union partners, that we have opportunities to make sure that we are more efficient, and that we do indeed protect the government purse. Using technology is something that going forward, everyone is going to have to get used to. And the very fact that we are doing this conference by Zoom, and we have had a number of our travel expenses, yes, it was thrust into the fore by COVID, but we now see the benefit of us doing a number of things that we were doing by traveling abroad. We are now seeing significant savings by doing those matters or conducting those matters through Zoom instead of going over abroad to some necessary business endeavors.
Thank you. Now, on Reed Street, just a couple doors down from Chopsticks, Lindsay, the golf place I went by yesterday, I saw the windows were all plastered over. Dealing with retail businesses and business in Hamilton, have you had any feedback from some of the other business owners in town about how he's going to address the needs over the next 5 years? I'm sorry, did you hear me?
You broke up at the end there, Duane.
Okay, sorry. Have you heard feedback from other business owners, businesses in Hamilton about what's the PLP going to do to survive in this economic over the next 5 years? Did I break up again?
Don, you're not coming through clearly, Don.
Okay, I'm sorry. The retail businesses in town, they're struggling a bit. What is the PLP going to do to help them out in the next 5 years?
Well, when you talk about business struggling, right? We all understand that we're going through what can only be described as one of the worst economic sets of circumstances that the world has seen in over 100 years. The mainstay of our country is tourism and international business, and they have a cyclical effect on the rest of our economy. An example of this would be restaurants in Bermuda are lamenting the fact that their business is down. Well, why is that? A number of the persons that have businesses that are in the city of Hamilton are working from home or working remotely. And so those persons are not coming into town and using the restaurants. And so we have to continue not only to take the cup that is the government's cup, but we have to indeed pass it around to our partners, ABIC, ABEAR, the Corporation of Hamilton, the Chamber of Commerce, and we have to continue to work collaboratively and collectively to have strategies to get people back in our city, to ensure that we have enough money going around in our economy so people can catch taxis, so they can work and come back to our cities, so business can start to hire again. We realize that it's going to be a difficult 2.5 years, and that's why the government has always been careful and will indeed have immigration policies, economic policies that allow through the BEDC, that allow business to thrive and indeed work to bring people to Bermuda and to bring people back to the city of Hamilton.
Thank you.
But we also have, business changing economies are now.
Ariana, you're actually really broken up and we cannot hear you
Yeah.
clearly.
I think she gave a pass.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
Can you hear me? I think it's important to recognize as well that the Progressive Labor Party has taken extreme measures, including the BEDC and the economic growth in regards to the innovative formation of entrepreneurship. And I think by boosting that opportunity for entrepreneurs, as one door closes, one may very well open as people start to think about, what they may be passionate about, the dreams and ideas they've always held on to while they're going through this economic turmoil of being faced with employment issues. I think it's an opportunity for the entrepreneurship to come in and help revitalize the economy as well. So just keep in mind that the Progressive Labor Party has put that in place, and will continue to support that.
Thank you.
And I want to say
Education.
as well. So I just want to say a quick thing. As a somebody that works in the restaurant industry, it was amazing that Workforce Development called to see how they can assist restaurants, not just the restaurant that I work at, other restaurants, so that they could help train people to come in to work, so that we can get more Bermudians in the door. So I think that would help people that are unemployed to get employed if they take the opportunity through workforce development.
Thank you. I know Jason wants back into, because the next question's with regard to the schools. Middle schools will be phased out. The PLP has talked about this before, but how will the new school realignment be better?
So that's an excellent question. What we want parents to know is that we are taking their child's best interest at heart with the new realignment. So with the two-tiered system, and specifically with the signature school, it enables them to get the learning that they need and the learning that they want. So 3 of the signature schools that we have put in place so far are, one is the learning support school. So what that means is those students that learn differently, and that's not a negative thing. We have a huge learning support population here in Bermuda. They'll be able to have a specific school in which they'll have the resources that they need to thrive. To thrive. I'll say that one more time. So then we have the signature school for tech, which means that the students will get the basic math, English, science, languages that they need, but it will gear them towards where they actually want to go. So if it's auto mechanics, if it's the hospitality industry, if it's woodwork, plumbing, arts, those type of things, that's where that signature school is going to gear the student towards. And then we're going to talk about the school for those that are academically inclined. So those students that math, English, science, that's their path, that's where they'll go. But they do have the option to change. And that's the thing, because on the doorsteps, so they're saying, what if my child decides that they don't want to take this path anymore? Then they will have the option to change. And that's critical. So what we're doing is we're giving these students what they need to be successful. We're getting rid of the middle school system. We're going back to the two-tier system, but the signature schools are key. The signature schools are key because now don't want to English science class that aren't doing the classes that they want to do, the career pathway that they want to take. So that's how it will help these students in the future. Plan 2022, take a look at it.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to add to that.
Parents.
Sorry. I just want to add to that with the realignment. We're talking it's not just the realignment of schools. It's not just taking away middle schools and going back to the two-tier system. Because yes, we are changing our curriculum. We are introducing signature schools, but we're changing how we deliver education holistically. So we're also talking about school transformation is also about improving teacher professional development, exposing students to things earlier. So students will be exposed to trades, different career paths at the primary level, as opposed to the middle school level, because we want students to they make their choice to determine if they want to go down which path. We want them to be able to experience all different types of career paths so that when they make their decision, like, this is what I'm passionate about, this is what I want to do, because we want our students to excel, and students will excel when they are doing something that they truly feel passionate about and interested in. So that is part of what the school realignment, school transformation process is about.
Thank you. There are some parents who have concerns that with the school realignment, that some schools may be closed as a cost savings measure. Is that going to happen?
So here's what I can say, dog. 10 years ago, the school population was a lot bigger than what it is now. 20 years ago, it was a lot bigger than what it was 10 years ago. So facts are is that we don't have as many students in the public school system as we did before. So that means that we do not need as many public schools as we had before. Those are facts. It's about cost saving measures as well, because at the end of the day, we have to cut costs, but not at the disadvantage of anyone in the public school system. So you know me, Dawn. I try and keep it as 100% honest as I possibly can. Yes, there will be school closures. There will be. And we've said that in our consultation. But at the end of the day, we're looking out for the island and our students' best interest.
Just to piggyback on that, while school closures maybe is a real possibility, what I would also say is that we're not going to force these changes on the public. We are going to consult with the public. The fact of the matter, we have this system that that the Bermuda public has stated that they wanted, and in order to provide that, we have to make changes with the infrastructure that we have. So with consulting the public, we will be saying, okay, this is what we want. How do we use what we already have to fit into the picture that of what we have said that we wanted? So it will not be we're just going to force this on the public. It will definitely be a consultative process. The minister has said this several times. So it will be a back and forth so that the public gets the education system that they asked for.
And Dawn, it's also key to note that we want the public, we want those with disabilities, we want those that have learning challenges that have been in the system in the past to come out to these consultation processes, because we can't do this alone. We need those, especially those with disabilities and learning challenges, to be involved in the process. Because if you're not involved in the process, if you choose not to be involved in the process, then how can you complain about something that we're putting in place if you're not involved in it? The PLP is giving everyone an opportunity to have a say in how the education system will go forward. We need you. We can't do this alone. So again, I make a plea for those that have these learning challenges, that have been through the public system, that those that have physical disabilities, that have been in the system. We implore you to come out to these consultation processes, because we can't do this alone.
Hi, Dawn. If I could jump in, I do see that there is a comment with regard to addressing those with disabilities and consulting with them. We actually do have that in mind. One of our MPs, MP Tanae Corbett, is actually an advocate for those with disabilities in Bermuda. She knows very intimately the struggles that some of them have and advocates for them. In addition, many of our other MPs and senators also have taken time to understand and meet with people with disabilities as well. And I know that the PLP will continue to make additional inroads into ensuring that people with disabilities can live just as easily and as freely as the rest of us can.
Thank you. The Black Lives Matter movement had 7,000 people take to the streets in Hamilton. The PLP have talked about a livable wage and have started progress on this. When can we expect this to be completed as people are looking to make things fairer in Bermuda?
So what was the correlation, Don? I didn't understand the correlation between that comment and the Black Lives Matter comment. What can you share with us the correlation between the Black
Sure.
Lives Matter march and the livable wage, please?
Well, Social Justice Bermuda put out their platform with economic equality as one of its points, and it would like to see Bermuda achieve. And the livable wage would be just one step closer to making that happen.
Of course, if you see the platform, we have a number of things that the livable wage was something that we're working on in the last election cycle, and you will see that will have a key focus. Once we get to the election and we get our feet back under the desk, we will continue the work of trying to get a livable wage for Bermuda. Listen, Don, we have been on the doorstep. We have knocked on the houses. We understand the struggles of the Bermudian people and what we need to do as a government to make sure that we regularize matters in Bermuda. And so when we talk about a livable wage, when we talk about people having the opportunity to afford food, afford rent, we understand firsthand. We have been going through the doors. We've been talking to them. This is in the forefront of our mind. And so when our voters, when we talk to the voters in our constituencies, we understand the hurt, we understand the struggle, and that will be the main focus of us as not only we deal with the livable wage, but we deal with each and every aspect of governing in Bermuda. We will take as our sacred and solemn trust, making life better for every Bermudian.
Along with the restorative justice or making things fair in Bermuda, we talked a little bit about cannabis reform earlier, but if we can talk a little bit more, and as well as mental health and the criminal justice system. So we're not putting away our black men in the same numbers that we're doing now.
So Don, I'm going to start right here really quickly. I'm grateful for the Progressive Labor Party. I'm grateful for the visionaries of this party from 1963. So when we hear of things like the Truman Report that came out of the 1977 riots and things that they put in place, we are incarcerating men at an alarming rate. In Bermuda, if you rode while disqualified on 3 occasions, on the 3rd occasion, you were given a period of incarceration. In 2001, the Progressive Labor Party government established the alternatives to incarceration through legislation. And what did that do? We looked at alternative methods of incarceration, rehabilitation, the opportunity for people to pay back and have the opportunity to do compensation to the victims. We did things where victim impact statements, where they can do victim impact statements in court and restitution orders. Through this PLP government, you had the establishing of the drug treatment court. Oftentimes in Bermuda, people who had drug addictions, they were forced to go to prison without the necessary help. It was the Progressive Labor Party government working with all of the helping agencies that established the drug treatment court. As a result of that, and following on from that, it was the Progressive Labor Party who allowed that to dovetail into what? Into the mental health court. The mental health court is an evolution where the helping agencies and the judges and all of social services, they are indeed together, and they're finding people that are in the criminal justice system who need mental health treatment, who need mental health support, for them to go through the mental health system. And if that was not all, they have established the driving while impaired court, looking for people who have had the opportunity to come into drug treatment court with drink driving offenses, for them to have a system that allows them to find the treatment, the support that they need. If you look at Turning Point, if you look at the Right Living Center at the Westgate Correctional Facility, the Right Living Center is a part of treatment. If a person has a chemical addiction or drug rehabilitation, they are going through that, almost a system that helps them to get on the proper footing. And so when people talk about what we're doing with decriminalizing cannabis, you cannot look at that on one stream. This government has used a continuum. Remember, also that the magistrates court, the Supreme Court, are controlled by His Excellency the government with the appointments. Yes, but with reference to the plans that we've put in place, I believe this government has done yeoman service in looking out for criminal justice reform, in making sure that Bermudians, no matter who they are, have an opportunity to get alternative sentences, but more importantly, have the opportunity to become significant citizens when they come back into our society. You've seen in this election cycle, how could I forget that for the first time, people on parole will be allowed to vote, Don. We believe as a party that we are committed to social justice reform. We know that all of the things that we've highlighted, whilst we're going in the right direction, we have not reached a pinnacle where we can thump our chest. We believe that there are many miles for us to go.
Okay. Anybody else want to add to that?
Just really quickly jumping on the cannabis reform, I think it's important that people, the general public, realize that there is a distinct difference between decriminalization and legalization. And unfortunately, I've heard how people believe that when they heard decriminalization, they was looking for legalization. And when it comes to that legalization, it's all about education and what that means effectively. And that's what this the PLP will actually implement, educating people what that would mean. We've decriminalized it to do away with the idea of what legalization means.
Michael Brangman says that it took 19 years for the PLP to support decriminalization. Are you really serious about it, or are you using it as an election ploy?
Can you repeat the question again, please?
Sure, I'll post it in the private chat as well.
I think it's safe to say that the Progressive Labor Party is very serious about cannabis reform. Don, you asked us earlier about the economy. Cannabis reform is a way for us to diversify our economy, provide opportunities for people to get to who may not have been working before to work. There are opportunities for entrepreneurs to get into cannabis business. So we have been very open about what we want to see happen with cannabis reform. We have created opportunities for the public to get involved with the writing of the legislation. So if we were not this serious, we would not provide these opportunities. We see the benefit of cannabis reform, and we're making sure that all of our people are able to benefit from it.
I like to say it's not an election ploy, or what was the word you used? Yeah, it's not an election ploy at all. We've actually, begun the process. It's something that's ongoing. It's something that's begun before an election was called, and it's something that will continue.
Switching to healthcare reform.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and even with people that are caught with small amounts of marijuana and stuff, or taking that off their rackets so that people can travel to the United States, it's going to make it easier so they're not on the stop list, but expunging it from their records.
Switching to healthcare, which your reform was delayed by the pandemic, rightfully so. In the new proposed plan, how will people who currently have no health insurance get it?
Can you repeat that? You kind of broke up.
Sure, it's in the chat as well, the private chat. But the healthcare reform was delayed. Under the new proposed plan, how will people who have no health insurance get it under this reform? Okay. I'm really broken up.
Unmute yourself, to say. I think Mr. Adams is talking, but he's muted.
Yes.
Does it work? Okay. I mean, the simple position is that the government has taken is that healthcare is a universal right, and so ultimately, I can assure that person that this government has taken the position and structuring this new healthcare reform for specific, not for specifically, but with those people in mind, the underinsured or those with no insurance. And so we're still in the discussion phase. I would say that we're not in a concrete position at the moment. We're still, being consultative and discussing this, but with the ultimate premise that those who are under or with no insurance, they aren't left, and they can at least be met with a core basic level of healthcare.
If they're not paying, they can't afford it now, how will they get it next year?
Could you repeat that,
Sorry.
Dawn? I believe you broke up a little bit again.
Sure,
Sorry.
I'll post it in the chat as well. If people can't afford to pay for health insurance now, how will they under the new plan? How will they be able to get it specifically? Well,
The insurance or just healthcare, period? Well, this is part of the negotiation. So one of the key factors is strictly from an economies of scale, right? So the idea with universal healthcare is that we're all committed to one pool or one pot. And in its simplest economics is with the economies of scale that it will allow healthcare to reduce in cost. But again, there's no commitment, there's no concrete strategy or approach as to what we're putting forward. This is still very much conceptualized and result or requires consultative from both members within the healthcare industry as well as the public, and collectively we're coming out with a structure that best suits us all.
Okay, thank you. Before we go, I want to give everyone a last chance to have a say to our viewers, and we'll start with Mr. Wade. Yes.
Appreciate it, Dawn. At the end of the day, I know that the voting public has heard this over and over again, but it's about leadership. Who do you want the country to lead you through the rest of this pandemic, and going forward with our economic policies that we look to get us out of this recession and through the next 5 years. When it comes to education, I'm passionate about education. I believe that after Cameron's been in C30 for the past 5-6 weeks, that is what our constituents are most concerned about, and we have a plan. The plan 2022, again, I implore all Bermudians to take a look at the plan. It's a very comprehensive plan of how we look to make our education system better. For the teachers as well, it gives the teachers the opportunity to be fully trained in the areas that they need to be trained in, and for our students especially, it gives them choice. Our students have not had choice, now they have choice. So on October the 1st, which is tomorrow, vote PLP.
Thank you. Mr. Adams?
Okay. Well, thank you, Dawn, for certainly having us. We certainly appreciated the conversation. My closing remarks will be first and foremost to ask or encourage every single one that is eligible to vote. It is of utmost importance that we exercise our democratic right. As the Premier had said earlier, that the electorate is always right. And so we are committed and we put our names forward. And as a collective unit, I believe that the Progressive Labor Party is the best choice for us. So I encourage everyone to vote. I could sit there and I will also say that the same attention, dedication, and energy that we put towards the health crisis of COVID-19, I assure you, we are now putting that same vision, that same dedication into the economic crisis. And so it is our intention. And I'm asking you, who would you trust? Haven't we, or I'd like to think that the government has produced enough to earn your trust, and that we can facilitate exactly what we put in our platform that's getting people back to work, that is reducing the cost of living, that is reforming healthcare, reforming education, all of that is within our agenda. And with 80% completion from our last mandate, I believe that we've now earned the trust of the people that we can actually execute what is actually on our platform.
Mr. Richardson?
Hi. Listen, Don, tomorrow's a general election. I don't want people to take that as serious as they can. It's a time for you to come out, cast your vote. You cast your vote for your representative. You cast your vote for the party who's shown leadership. You cast your vote for the party you feel that you can commit and believe in. You cast your vote for a representative who you know you can depend on. You cast your vote for the Progressive Labor Party if you feel what we feel is the best thing for Bermuda. Okay? Don't waste your vote on generational history. Use your vote wisely because it's important that you exercise the extent of the power of the vote. Vote for a voice. Vote for Progressive Labor Party because we are your voice to get things done for you, your family, and the country.
Thank you. Ms. Morris? Oh, so, Davida, you're muted.
Apologies.
Okay.
Try that again. What I would say is to the voting public is to read the platform. Go to plp.bm, go to platform, download the platform, and really digest the information that is there. Understand that the Progressive Labor Party has a vision for Bermuda, and it is one that includes everyone, every Bermudian. I also want to encourage people to, before they vote, to think of where we are as a country and where we are going. There is a reason why we are campaigning on strong leadership. We need strong leadership for what is to come. It is not just for right now, but it is for the future. So I encourage everyone to go out tomorrow and vote with those things in mind.
Thank you. And for everyone, have a beautiful day.